Hello everyone and welcome to Checkpoint. Yeah. How have you been? I hope you're doing well. All right, I'm so delighted to be in your face again. It's me, your host, Dr. Ifama Eze, and I'm really excited to be here with you right now. And I like to always start by saying thank you, and thank you for all that you do for us here at Checkpoint. Because of you, our message is reaching a wider audience, and we want to say thank you, and thank you again. You know that the major instrument through which our message is reaching a wider audience is you. You are the reason why it is reaching, because you are liking our videos, you are commenting on them, you are sharing them, you are also subscribing to my YouTube channel. And because of all that you do, our message is reaching a wider audience. And for this, I really want to say thank you, and thank you again. Now, I'll be sharing a topic for today in a moment. And before I do, I'd like you to get ready to share, all right? Get ready to share. Share this video to your friends, your relations, your associates, your neighbors. Let everyone know that it is time for Checkpoint, and it's going to be amazing as usual. I look forward to sharing lots and lots of things that are very dear to my heart, and I know that will be a blessing to you today. Go ahead and share to your social media pages, your Instagram, your WhatsApp. Let people know that it is time for Checkpoint, and as you do so, the message will reach a wider audience. And I will be right back after this break so I can bring you today's topic. Are you ready? All right, just get ready. I'll be sharing today's topic very, very quickly. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. All right, and welcome back after the break. Now, today on Checkpoint, I'll be sharing with you a very important topic, something that you and I and everyone you know may have been going through, and that is recognizing and coping with negative emotions. Recognizing and coping with negative emotions. One of the most popular psychological theories of these negative emotions of the emotion generally is by Robert Plutchik. Robert Plutchik developed what we call a wheel of emotions. All right, this was in 1980, and he stated that there are 8 basic emotions in place. There are 8 basic emotions. He's not saying that that was just all the emotion available, but he said that these ones are the 8 basic ones. So there are other emotions, but there are 8 basic emotions. And he said that number 1 is joy, number 2 trust, fear, surprise, sadness, anticipation, anger, and disgust. And now Plutchik went ahead to begin to pair these emotions with their opposites, and then he created what we call a wheel of emotions. This wheel of emotions serves to elaborate on how complex and how interactive our emotions can be. So Plutchik did something. He paired the basic emotions with their polar opposites to help further develop his theory. So at the end of the day, he put sadness as the opposite of joy. He put anticipation as the opposite of surprise. He put anger as the opposite of fear. He put disgust as the opposite of trust. Now, Plutchik, in this wheel of emotions that he created, he created a visual representation of how our emotions present themselves. So what he was trying to do is that he was trying to show that our core emotions usually decrease as we move forward, as we move outward on the wheel. So if you are moving in the opposite way, your emotions begin to change to the other side. So which means if you are sad, the degree to which you are sad is the lesser degree to which you will have joy. So the moment you move closer to joy, the lesser your sadness, and the more you move closer to sadness, the higher your joy. So Plutchik also used colors to represent the intensity of the emotion. So the darker the color, the more intensities, and the lighter the color, the more lighter it is, as the case may be. So the darker ones were more intense. So the darker it is, the more intense that emotion is. I'll be putting it up on the screen so that you can see what the Wheel of Emotion by Robert Plutchik looks like. He developed this in the year 1980. Now, are all emotions bad? No, all emotions are not bad, certainly not bad. We as human beings, we express about 400 emotions each day. Someone will be like, how many minutes do we have in a day that we have to express up to 400 emotions? Believe me when I tell you, all right while you are still on your bed, you are expressing lots of emotions. Just picking up your phone, you can even have up to 100 emotions just swiping across your screen, maybe on social media, on Facebook or Instagram. You'll be seeing yourself expressing different feelings. That tells you that there is something about we human beings and our feelings and emotions. Our emotions are a very much part of us. And so all emotions are not bad. All emotions are not good. There are some emotions that are good for you and there are some emotions that are bad for you. Hence, we have the positive emotions and we have the negative emotions. The positive emotions are feelings like joy, happiness, excitement, surprise, a good surprise kind of. All right. So these are good kind of positive emotions, but also we have negative emotions, and that's what we'll be talking about today. Being able to recognize and cope with those negative emotions. That's about all we're going to be talking about today. So, are you ready? All right, let's talk about negative emotions. What would you describe as a negative emotion? I'd like to hear from you in the comment section. Please go ahead and let me know in the comment section what is a negative emotion to you. What would you consider to be a negative emotion? Type. Let me know what you're thinking right now. So I like to start by saying that negative emotion can be described as any feeling which causes you to be miserable and sad. Any feeling that causes you to be miserable and sad. Not only that, a negative emotion is any unpleasant or unhappy emotion which is evoked, all right, and which is aroused in individuals, and you begin to express them, especially with a negative effect towards a person or towards a thing. So negative emotions happen all within you, all right? It begins to arouse negative feelings. It begins to evoke uh, uh, negative thoughts, negative effects inside your heart towards a person or towards a thing. And there are several reasons why we can have negative emotions. Now, having said this, I would also like to say that not all negative emotions are bad. Like when you are afraid, you know that being afraid sometimes causes you to be a bit more careful, right? So it causes you to be a bit wary of incoming danger. That way you can keep yourself safe. So not all, not in fact, the negative emotions are not always bad for you, right? But it's important that you do not live by negative emotions. It's important that you don't have much of you don't experience much of negative emotions. Now, I like you to think back to that moment when something bad happened to you, when something that you think you could not even live through happened to you. It could be the loss of a loved one, it could be the loss of a job, it could be the loss of money, somebody duped you, or stuff like that. It could be that somebody rejected you, or somebody harmed you, or somebody hurt you. There are several reasons why we may be able to have negative emotions. It could also be as a process of as a product of unmet desire, right? Something you wanted to get, you were not able to get them. These are some of the things that can actually create negative emotions in your heart. And when these things happen, you begin to have this kind of negative effect towards a person, negative effect towards somebody, and it gets aroused within you. So the arousal could be in the form of anger, it could be in the form of disgust, it could be in the form of resentment, it could be in form of fear. And there are tons and tons of things that can actually create a negative emotion in your life. I like you to also know that negative emotions will likely make you to dislike yourself, all right, and dislike others, and reduce your confidence and even your self-esteem. So while negative emotions can sometimes be useful, it is not always useful. Sometimes they can just diminish your self-confidence, diminish your self-esteem. You do not value yourself anymore. You do not see yourself like who God wants to see you as. And this is very, very key. So I'd like you to quickly tell me in the comment section right now. Tell me something that happened to you that you did not like, maybe in the past week or in the past month or even in the past year. Share with us something that happened. How did you feel about that? All right. So say what happened and how you felt about that so that we can all click into that time when we did not feel good about something or we did not feel good about someone because of what they had done to us. So let me know in the comment section right now. I'll be pausing a minute so I can hear and I can read what you have said. All right, type away, type away, type away. Let me know. Let me know right now. All right, so let me know. Yeah, I can see some comments coming in already, and I'm going to read every one of them. But see, one thing I like you to understand is that bad things happen. And bad things happen even to the good people. And we can't say that bad things will only happen to bad people. Even the righteous. The Bible says that many are the afflictions of the righteous. And God is the one that will deliver them from them all. So sometimes bad things happen to good people. And we really can't do just about anything about it. But one thing we can do is that we can recognize what these negative emotions are and learn how to cope with them or how to overcome them. So that's why I'm here now. I'm not here to tell you that your negative emotions, that you do something and wipe out all your negative emotions. I can't promise you that. I can't promise you that good things are going to happen to you for the rest of your life. But one thing I can promise you is that when they do happen, you will know how to cope. You will know how to recognize them. You will know how to control them, and you know how to do well by yourself. All right. So let's talk about these negative emotions. Remember, I said that these negative emotions can make you to dislike yourself or dislike someone else. All right. And at the end of the day, it even makes you to lose your self-esteem and lose your self-confidence. And it can also make you to lose general life satisfaction. So you come to that point where you don't even feel like I really need to, I can still live. All right. You come to that point where you feel like I don't think I can live with this. I don't think I can do this anymore. Stuff like that. So this is very, very key that you learn how to recognize and how to cope with these negative emotions. Let's talk about examples of this negative emotion. Number one I like to talk about is hate. Hate. Do you know that there are people that hate themselves? I know you are so used to hearing people hate others, but there are people that beyond hating others, they also hate themselves. And this is something that we have to work on. We have to recognize it and we have to cope and overcome it, right? So people hating people. I don't understand why somebody will just hate somebody. Okay, maybe I understand a little bit. It could be because of what the person has done to you, or it could be because of how the person has treated you. But see, hate is such a strong emotion, right? When you hate somebody, it bonds you, right? That hate forms a strong energy level in your life, and this time it is a negative energy level that burns strong within you, and it destroys you from within. All right, this is like a self-sabotage issue. As you are hating on somebody, you are getting destroyed on your inside. So if you can do without it, do well not to live in a life of hate. And one of the worst ones that can happen is somebody hating himself or herself. Why would you hate yourself? There are people that have it worse than you do. You may have experienced something in your body that has maimed you or made you incapable of living the kind of life that others live. But that's not why you should hate yourself. You may be obese, trying to work on your weight, and you don't like the way you look. That's not enough reason for you to hate yourself. You may be disabled, and everybody thinks they're smarter than you and faster than you, and you don't even get the opportunities that you should get for yourself simply because of the disability. I understand. But the truth of the matter is that you can't give up on yourself. There is somebody that has it worse than you. At least you are still alive. So we cannot afford to allow such a negative emotion to destroy us. Another kind of negative emotion that I like to mention is anger. I even talked about it sometime in my video. Anger can burn you and destroy you from within. Even the Bible says that a person of anger who cannot control their anger, that the person is like a city with broken down walls. When a city has walls that are broken down, what do you think happens? The enemy invades that city and destroys that city for good. And this is why you cannot afford to live that kind of life, a life that is perpetually full of anger. I know that the anger did not come from heaven. I know the anger did not self develop all by itself. But I know that something caused the anger and someone caused the anger. But you can do yourself a favor by learning to forgive. You can do yourself a favor by letting go so that whatever is responsible for that anger leaves you alone. Number three is jealousy. Jealousy is a terrible negative emotion. When you are jealous of someone, you are wishing you have what they have. All right, you are wishing that they don't get what that they don't get further in life, and that is a form of witchcraft, and you can't afford to live that kind of life. Another negative feeling is negative feeling of sadness. Sadness. I know there are a number of things that can make us sad. It could be loss, it could be unmet desire, unmet expectations. All right, it could also be lack of fulfillment as a person, as an individual. So whatever it is that could be cause making you sad, it is okay to be sad, but don't dwell in your sadness, right? I've said it and I'll say it again. It is okay to be sad, but don't dwell in your sadness. I know you are sad, but don't live there. All right. Sadness comes. It comes to even the very best of us. I've been sad a good number of times, more than I can even count. But we know that these are natural emotions that we can experience once in a while. So don't let it keep you down. Another negative emotion I'll talk about is emptiness. You know, this emptiness that comes from being alone, all right, being alone, and sometimes not even being alone, because that one is loneliness. This emptiness is like you feel unsatisfied. You feel like you're not worth anything. And I like you to know that God did not create anybody empty. God did not create us empty. God did not create us a non-entity. He created us a celebrity. We are all only going to just grow up and walk into in that status, in our new status or our celebrity status that God has created us to be. So I like to encourage you, whatever it is that is in you that is creating those feelings of emptiness, like you don't matter, like your life does not matter. I like you to stop that feeling right now. Do everything you can to quench it, because it is not of God and it's not going to make you a better person. Another negative emotion we'll talk about is frustration. Oh, I have been frustrated, I can assure you. But I didn't stay frustrated, okay? So the lesson here today is that even though you are facing frustration, don't stay frustrated. Frustration happens especially with unmet desires, unmet needs, when unmet expectations. There are things that you want to achieve, there are things you want to get, but then eventually you're not getting them. All right, those things are not being done for you, or you're not being able to achieve those things. It causes lots and lots of frustration. And when this happens, you feel like, oh, what's the use of life? I'm tired. What is the essence of waiting or living? Please don't do that to yourself. All right. It does happen to everyone, but just do your own passion, do your own part by rising above it. And then another negative emotion I like to talk about is the feelings of inadequacy. You know, that feeling that tells you you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, who is going to listen to you, what do you have to say, you know, whatever you have to say does not matter because you are nobody. Those feelings of inadequacy are not healthy for you. They are not okay for you. All right. Who is lying? Somebody is certainly lying to you, and you cannot afford to be lied to. All right. When God met Adam at the Garden of Eden, and Adam said, I was naked, God told him, who told you? Who told you you were naked? Because when you begin to listen to the lies of the devil, when you begin to listen to the lies of the enemy in your life, they will tell you all manner of things and make you feel inadequate. There's something I always call that the imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome is that little tiny voice within you that tells you you're not good enough, that tells you you're not smart enough, that tells you cannot do what you have come of age to do, that tells you that you are not capable to handle the project right before you, that tells you that you cannot shine as much as you desire to shine. But those are lies, lies upon lies. You can be anything you want, you can be anyone you want, you can achieve anything that God has ordained for you to achieve. You can even achieve anything you have set your heart to do. So please do not allow any voice, anyone to keep you down and give you feelings of inadequacy. Another negative emotion I like to talk about is the feelings of helplessness. Helplessness. You know, there comes a time in our life when we feel like we've looked to the left and to the right, to the front and to the back, and there's nobody coming through to help us. But let's always remember this, that our help does not come from man. Our help comes from God. Our help does not come from man. God is our true helper. It is in this kind of situation and scenario that the psalmist saw himself and he said, I will lift up my eyes to the hills. Whence cometh my help? Because he knew where his help was coming from. Blessed are you when you know where your help is coming from. When you don't look out for help in a place where your help will never come from. You know, there are many people that are hanging around people that will never help them in life. They are staying around people that will never help them in life. They are looking at the places from whence their help will never come from. But blessed are you when you know where your true help is coming from. I wrote a book titled Help because this book was like a reflection of the things I have been through, a reflection of my story, my life story. And I looked through my life story and I told myself, truly, I have been helped. And I recognized that even though there were human beings, there were individuals here and there who God used at different times, every one of them had a God connection. It was God right behind it, trying to help my life. It was God right behind those actions. It was God right behind their giving. It was God right behind what they gave me or the help that they rendered, because I understand that God is my true source of help. And if you understand that today, it will greatly, greatly help you. All right, another negative emotion I'd like to talk about is fear. In fact, I have an entire video on fear, different types of fear. Fear of not being good enough, fear of inadequacy, fear of criticism, fear of failure, fear of time, you know, fear of several. In fact, I had so many things I talked about fear. So please, I'd like you to go and watch that video dealing with fears, all right? Fears, the fears in life, different fears in life. There are so many fears that we come across. But whatever kind of fear it is you may be going through, one thing I would like you to know is that fear is an acronym for false evidence appearing as real. So sometimes the things you are afraid of are also afraid of you. All right, the things you're afraid of are also afraid of you. And your fear may not be real. Some people have fears of their own shadow. Some others have fear of ghosts. Some others have fear of different things. But sometimes your fears may not be real. So it's important that you understand that some fears are real, quite all right, but some fears are not real. So whatever the fear is, try to overcome that fear. It is commonly said that courageous people are not people without fear. They were people who were able to overcome their fear with courage. They were able to overcome their fear with courage. So you make up your mind that whatever fear that has been trying to stop you, you are the one that's going to stop that fear today, and you will stop it. All right. So let me know in the comment section what other negative emotion you have been able to identify and that can be a problem in your life and in the life of others. Just share with us and tell us what you think is the solution to handling that kind of problem. All right. Another kind of negative emotion I would like to talk about is guilt. Guilt can arise from something you failed to do or something you did. It could be guilt from an action or guilt from inaction, or whichever way it is. I like you to learn how to forgive yourself, learn how to let go. All right. I know you are feeling guilt because you have a conscience. You are feeling guilt because you recognize that you have done something wrong. All right. You recognize that you should have done something, but you didn't do it. And that, just knowing that, is enough, because unfortunately we have found ourselves in the midst of people, a generation who do not have guilt for their errors anymore, a generation who do not have guilt for the wrongdoings, a generation who do not have guilt because they kept quiet and allowed evil men to excel. All right, this is the generation we have found ourselves in, where people do not even feel guilty over what they have done and they did wrong. So if you still have guilt, don't beat yourself up. Tell yourself you are still human and you still have a conscience. And the fact you are feeling guilt means that you can correct your ways, correct your errors, and move forward in life. Another kind of negative emotion that I like to talk about is loneliness. People find themselves lonely, and sometimes you may not have to be alone to feel lonely. So there are many people that are with somebody, they are in the midst of people, but they are feeling lonely because there's no connection, lonely because, in fact, I watched a video sometime ago when a small girl child said when she grows up she wants to be a telephone, because her father, her mother, they are always on their phone. They don't raise up their face to see her. Even if she's making a request, their eyes are on the phone, they're chatting away, looking for likes, looking for views, typing away on the phone. They never look up to take a good look at her. Their eyes are always on the phone. So she said when she grew up, she wants to be a phone. Children like that, they are in the midst of their parents and siblings, but they are lonely. And there are people who are, even though they are adults today, they are still lonely. They are still lonely people. Because of that, they have to really work on themselves. All right. I know that there is a work therapy will do, but there's also a responsibility on you to turn around those negative emotions. And some of you who are actually feeling lonely, you expect the whole world to reach out to you. Sometimes it's out of our entitledness. We expect everyone to reach out to us. But the question is this: who are you reaching out to? Who are you intentionally making out time for? You want people to pick your cause, but do you pick the cause of others? You know that that thing you want others to do for you, you should be nice enough to also do it for others. And this is very, very key. So feelings of loneliness can be overcome when you choose to do something about it. And depression, I have a full video on depression, overcoming depression. You can watch the video. It's on YouTube on my channel. Please go do well and watch a video on depression and how to cope with it and how to overcome it. I've been able to share with you several negative emotions. But then after knowing these emotions, what do you do with them? How do you solve the problem? How do you overcome them? How do you cope with them? I'm going to share with you in about a minute. Just don't go anywhere. I'll be back after the break. All right, so having recognized all these negative emotions, the next question on our list should be, what do we do? How do we handle these negative emotions? All right, so now if you have ideas and ways through which you can handle these negative emotions, please let me know in the comment section. Share with me. I am also open to learning. I'm sure there might be comments you might share today that I have not even thought about. All right, so let me share the ones I have, and then I'll learn the rest from you. Is that okay? All right, I love this partnership. So number one thing to do about your negative emotion is that you have to identify your emotion. Identify your emotion. What am I feeling right now? How am I feeling right now? What's going on in my mind? Why am I feeling these things I'm feeling? Because sometimes when you are having a negative emotion, you might have a physiological symptom and you can have an emotional symptom. All right. So inside your heart, you might be sad. You feel like crying. You're not happy. All right. Then physiologically, you might be sweating. You might be clenching your fist. Your heart might be beating very, very fast. So there are things that will happen that will show you that you actually have a negative emotion running within your system at that moment. So identify your emotion. How are you feeling? And this is the truest answer and question we can give ourselves, because only you can tell yourself how you are feeling, right? You're the only one that can answer that question. Only you can say what exactly you are feeling per time. So how are you feeling? What's going on in your mind? So only you can tell yourself how you are feeling per time. So tell yourself the truth. And the truth you tell yourself will save you, will set you free. Because only you can tell yourself this truth. So identify your emotion. How are you feeling? What's going on in your mind? What is happening to you right now? And then number two, and very important, is that you have to reframe your thoughts. Like all emotions, emotions make you think, all right? So when you begin to feel a thing, your mind is active, your mind is processing that emotion at that given time. So one thing you can do for yourself is to reframe your thoughts, because most of your emotional symptoms are happening in your mind. The feelings of sadness, the feeling of being not being wanted, anxiety, resentment, whatever it is you are feeling at that very time is going on in your mind. So you can do yourself a favor by saying, now that I'm feeling this way, what then do I do? How do I reframe my thoughts? I have feelings of sadness, but then I can begin to think of things that make me joyful. That way I can replace the sadness with joy. All right. I have feelings of anger right now. I have feelings of anger. But what else can I do to make sure that I am not feeling this feeling right now? All right. I have feelings of anticipation. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I anticipating something wrong about to happen to me. So no matter what it is you are feeling, just try to find a negative and an opposite rather, an opposite um emotion to counteract that one you are feeling. Like if you are feeling lonely, think about the people who at least reach out to you, the person who smiled to you today, the person who smiled to you the other day, the people who told you you look good, the people who believed in you. There must be somebody here on earth who thinks that you are a big deal. All right? Begin to reframe your thoughts. Think about those people who see you in their life as a big deal. Focus on them, all right? Focus on them. Spend more time with them. That way you begin to feel better about yourself. So reframe your thoughts. Are you feeling like things are not working in your life? Sit down and begin to count your blessings. Tell yourself about the things that are good in your life, the things that are working, the things that are okay. All right? Tell yourself that some things are really, really working out in your life. And because they are working out, you are not all forsaken. All right? Your life is not destroyed. That's not the end of you. All right? And then this is how you begin to reframe your thoughts. You begin to wrap up them up with something new. Another thing you can do is begin to take out time for self-care. Begin to take out time for self-care. Self-care is essential. And as I speak to you, I speak to myself. There is need for us to take good care of ourselves. You know what? People are busy. People are engrossed. People are distracted with a lot of things, and the person you are waiting for is also waiting for you. And one thing nobody can do for you better than you can do for yourself is self-care. Take care of yourself. If there is need for you to rest, please do well to rest. Sleep. I used to think that anybody who sleeps in the afternoon is a lazy person. It used to be my ideology for many, many years. As I get older, I know that it is essential for me to make out even sleep in the afternoon. When the day is bustling and things are getting so strong and emotions are everywhere and I just calm down, just tune up. I just tune up. Today, I had a meeting with my women in church, and as we were discussing, we talked about lots and lots of things we needed to do this year. And one of the things that were really strong in that meeting was that the women wanted 1 day off. I said, what? They said a day off, a day that they don't get to do house chores, take care of children, do stuff, do cooking and stuff. They just want to be relaxed and be taken care of. And I was like, this is good. And I'm really excited about it. I thought that we will certainly factor this into our plan this year. There's so much need for self-care, both for males and females. Let's not make the self-care thing as if it's just for females. Men deserve also to take care of themselves. They are human beings. And people are falling every day. People are falling and collapsing every day. The struggle is real. Life is hard as it is. So take good care of yourself. Eat well. Don't feed this body with junk. Eat well. Eat reasonable, home-cooked food, real food. Food from the kitchen, food made by yourself, so that you don't end up eating a lot of junk and at the end of the day, you're not healthy like you should. You're not okay like you should because you have fed yourself a lot of junk. All right? And number 4 thing I'd like to share with you on how to cope and overcome this negative emotion is that you have to talk about it. Talk about it. Don't keep quiet. Don't assume that talking about your problem is a proof of weakness. Don't assume that if you keep quiet about it, it will just go away. Talk about it. Tell somebody about it. Tell your support group about it. Tell your family or friends about it, about how you're feeling. Somebody will likely have the right words to say to you. Talk about it. Because it's commonly said that the problem half shared is half solved. Talk about it. Share it with somebody. Tell somebody, this is exactly how I'm feeling. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. Do you know why? The moment you even begin to talk about it, you'll be surprised at how fast you'll be able to process that thought and know what to do about it. It has worked for me many times. Sometimes I'm not okay in terms of I'm not in a good place emotionally, but I begin to talk about it. As I begin to talk about it, I begin to figure out what I must do, what I have to do in order to make sure that I get better. So this is so important. Talk about it. Don't just hold the feelings back to or with yourself. All right, don't hold it back. Just tell somebody about it. And then finally, the last thing I'd like to share with you is that you have to practice gratitude. I say this, I cannot over say it. Practice gratitude. Think about all the wonderful things working in your life right now. Think about all the beautiful things that God has already done for you. Think about all the things you have been able to achieve. Think about the life that you still have that many others do not have. So practice gratitude. Write out on a sheet of paper all the 10 things that you are happy about, all the 10 things that you already have, 10 things the Lord has done for you, 10 things you were able to achieve, 10 things that you prayed about yesterday that are already a reality in your life today. Practice gratitude. When you begin to practice gratitude, you'll be surprised at how fast good things will begin to happen in your life. So these are the few things I decided to share with you today on how to recognize and cope with negative emotions. I believe in my heart that after now you'll be able, when these emotions come, like they would always come because you're human beings, you will know what to do, you know how to cope with them, and then your life will not be stunted or stagnated by it. All right, so this is all I have for you today. Very short, very snappy, and I'm sure very enlightening. Until I come your way again, keep making a positive, indelible mark in the lives of people and on the sands of time. I love you so very much. Bye bye for now. Hi everyone, I hope you were blessed by that message. All right, so I want you to just go ahead and support us. If you are led, go ahead and just sow into the account right on the screen. And I know that as you do that, God will bless you big time. Because of the seeds you are sowing, you will be able to reach a wider audience on different platforms. So please do well to sow that seed and God will bless you. Love you.